Hey everybody, welcome back to another LEGO City update. Today we're going to be jumping around the city, making and placing some mini builds, and much more. We're actually going to start right over here in one of my favorite spots in a LEGO City, and that is the campground. The campground's already looking pretty good, but I think there's some improvements that can be made. So I'm going to work on like a few mini builds and place them in here just to sort of make it look a little bit more authentic. I mean, it doesn't really get any more authentic than this, right? This is the outhouse from the Alpine Lodge. Pretty cool build. You've got like these modified 4x6 plates on this side. There's some connectors in the inside so you can actually hang the TP or the toilet paper. Then there is the seat, of course, some arches on the back there, and a nice hinged roof so you get that pretty cool angle. Now, I think I've got enough pieces in my inventory to make a couple of these for the campground. Now, of course, I don't have the exact pieces, so I had to make some modifications. For example, the plates on the side just have studs on them, which is all right. And the color of the roof is different because, of course, it's not snowing in my campground. But look at that. I was able to make 2 outhouses for the campground just using the parts from my inventory and also referencing this design. Now, this is going to be the only design that I sort of cheat on because, of course, it's sort of cheating just copying a design from a Lego set. But I really like this outhouse design. I'm trying to think of a good spot to put these. It doesn't really make sense to put them like by this tent or picnic table or over there by these guys because that's their campsite. They don't really want to camp next to the outhouse. So I think the best spot to put them is probably going to be right over here beside these cabins and also by my custom cabin because there's an open spot right there in front of the LEGO Ideas Winnie the Pooh set. But if I just remove this tree and remove some of those little leaves and move Eeyore, then that's going to be a pretty good spot for both outhouses. Now I could space them out, but it's quite common in real life to have your outhouses side by side. It's usually just like a bank of outhouses, so that's where I'm going to put them. I put some 2x2 jumpers down and also some 1/4 round tiles, so now I can actually place these at a slight angle. And I like that. Hey, look at that. Outhouses right in front of Winnie the Pooh. He's been a good sport about it. Something else I've come to realize about the campground is there's not really like a staff building or like a building that can be used for staff for collecting like the lot fees. I've got the front entrance here and there's also the sign and then there's our Mountie right there. But I'm thinking there needs to be some sort of structure right there just sort of regulating this gate and collecting the lot fees. Campsite registration building maybe? But this is what I came up with. It's on an 8x8 light gray plate. It's got a foundation of nougat masonry, which is topped with an 8x8 nougat plate. This is the service window. That's where they take your money. And then we've got the open sign there, which is actually a sticker element from an extras pack. There's the door to access the little building. We've got a window on this side and a window on this side. Transition from the nougat masonry to the brown palisade bricks and also the cylinders. Got the rail plate there and then some slopes on top of that. It's nicely tiled off and we've got a little bit of a vent there as well. This roof is removable. It's got a 1x4 jumper there and a 1x2 plate. Inside there's just a little drawer unit, some $100 bills and a little seat. And that guy right there who is just excited about his job working in the wilderness, his campsite, his dream job, he is fired up. Yeah, I think this is like the perfect little building to service the entrance of the campsite. And then to place this little structure here, I decided that I'm actually going to remove 4 of those little green plates and pop that right there. I guess it's a little bit tight there. You just got to watch out. You might nick your vehicle on the side. Maybe I need to move it back a couple more studs, but then it's going to bridge onto the other plate. Worth it though, that's a little bit more realistic. Okay, so the next thing this campsite needs is a wood pile. Where are all the campers getting the wood to have their fires? There's no wood pile anywhere. Or some sort of large wood cache, I guess. A wood pile would sort of be boring to build. It's just literally a bunch of wood thrown in a pile. So I think a giant wood cache will look a little bit better. Okay, nothing too crazy with this one here, but it's still a pretty good design, I would say. Built up the walls using dark gray, put some large slopes on the front, and also put some masonry bricks in there as well. And then I put these slopes right here because I wanted the roof to be angled. and actually just use some of the hinge connectors to adapt those plates, allowing me to angle the roof, and those slopes sort of fill that gap in nicely there. Put some miscellaneous wood in there. Some of it is built using the Technic pieces, some cylinders, and then some of the cylinders have the 1x1 print pieces on them, and also put some kindling in the left there in like a little crate. So you got some kindling, and then you got some fuel. So yeah, you're ready to go. You can create a fire. All you need is some tinder and you're good to go. You can start a nice fire using the wood from the wood cache. I think the perfect spot for that is central. So I put it right there below this massive tree. Whatnot is an online marketplace where buyers and sellers can interact via live stream while taking a look at their favorite collectibles. My next Whatnot stream is scheduled for January 28th, starting at 12 o'clock Mountain Time. During that live stream, I'm going to be auctioning off a ton of these minifigures. In addition to that, I've got a pretty special giveaway lined up, which is the Coruscant Guard gunship with free international shipping. If you're not on Whatnot, you can join using my link, which is in the pinned comment or description below. And when you join using that link, you're going to get a $15 credit, which can be redeemed on your first purchase. Whether that be on one of these minifigures, something out of my loaded Buy It Now store, or on your favorite Funko Pop from a different seller. In addition to the live stream coming up on January 28th, I've got 3 more live streams scheduled throughout the month of February, so make sure you head to my page and bookmark those because I've got some pretty epic giveaways lined up for them as well. So I hope to see you soon on my next Whatnot live stream. Let's get back to the Lego. Now, I don't know why, but for some reason I was struggling with this one the most. Do you know what it is? This can like pivot. And it's the red Technic elements. It's like a water pump. So this is where you can get some water for your campsite. You can fill your bucket or your jug, whatever it may be. Now, I built this in an interesting way, but once again, I did struggle with it a little bit just because I didn't know how to build a water pump that looked realistic. I guess that looks pretty good. And I did use a sideways building technique. So this is the brick slate on this side, and then there is a Technic brick that the water pump adapts to. And then I put some snot bricks in there as well, so I could put like the grill elements, so it's like sort of a drainage. And then I put some of these like modified brackets there, so I'm actually able to adapt it to the green plate. And to make sure it matched on either side, I put a tile here, and then I put some snot bricks, and I put the tiles downward like that. So it's sort of on like a concrete platform, similar to what you would see when you go camping. I'm a huge fan of camping, and this is a detail that is a must for a campsite, so I decided to build one. So there we go, we've got 5 more details placed in the campsite. The check-in booth, the wood cache, the water pump, and of course, the outhouses. I think this area is looking pretty good, and I'm ready to move on to a different section of the Lego City. If there's anything else that you think I should add to the campground, let me know by commenting below. My next little mini project is going to take all of my 1x dark tan tile. There's not a whole lot of 1x in here. I guess there's a little bit. I'm hoping there's enough because I have this wall in my Lego City, and right now it has exposed studs, and I want to cap it off with some 1x dark tan tile. And it looks like we're probably going to have enough. And that's the Tan Masonry Amusement Park wall right here. It's got some windows built into it, so you can actually check out the locomotives. You can still enjoy the theme park from the outside that way, so I like that little detail there. But this is a pretty cool wall because it hinges and comes this way, but I don't really like those exposed studs on the top. So I'm going to cap it off with dark tan. That is a minor detail, but I do think it looks a lot better when it's capped off in the dark tan. And you know what? I also built another section of wall using the same technique. So I found these tan masonry bricks on the wall the other day. Unfortunately, I don't have any 1x2s, but it all blends in. You can't really tell that those ones aren't profile bricks. So I built this section with the 4 glass windows in the middle because there's another section of wall that has yet to be built. I sort of went with the tan color because it matches the Studgate train station. Maybe I could have capped it off in black, but I think the dark tan matches as well, and I think it makes more sense. So yeah, I put that wall right here, and it's got the glass windows because now you can check out the trains from the exterior if you're hanging out by the Spring Lantern Festival or grabbing a hot dog. Now that I've been working around the amusement park, it sort of sparks my memory or sparks my need to take on a different project altogether. And that is these little mini modular buildings right here. I've been meaning to upgrade those for so long. So today I'm going to start upgrading at least one of those things. One of my favorite things, and also one of Mrs. Bricksie's favorite things to do when we're in Disney World or Disneyland, because it's usually scorching hot, is to go to Starbucks. Not to get a hot coffee, but to get an iced coffee. They are just so refreshing when it's so hot out and you're tired from walking around all day. You need that caffeine. So I think the amusement park actually needs a little Starbucks modular building. So I'm going to start constructing that now. Because for some reason, I just think that makes sense. So I'm actually going to base this on a 16 by 16 plate. I've got two 1x4 plates there and some tiles on the front and also two 1x2 tiles right there. Now this took me a while to build. It's going to be a lot quicker now that I'm showing you how I did it. We've got some masonry bricks on the side and some pillars behind that to make it a perfect 2x2, and some more masonry bricks on this side. And then I built these. Got the Starbucks green, it's not mounted on there. Now I ran out of 1x4, so I used 1x3s and 1x1s. Hope to change that in the future. There's one missing there for a reason, you'll see in a moment. And then there's also the 1x1s on the side of the black windows and some 1x4 plates above and below that window. And I built two of these. So we got one on the left and one on the right. And then I've got this fancy looking door here. And I decided to use a tan door frame because that's a Starbucks color and it was getting a bit dark. And it's got some windows on the top. Put a 2x2 plate on the top and also some corner plates. And that's going to lock the door in because I actually inset the door one stud. So the door is inset actually 3 studs in total. Just to get a bit of depth at the building because these are flush, then 1 stud, then 2 studs. And I put the plates down with the tile just to make this look smooth. You wouldn't be able to fit those tiles underneath those snot bricks if I didn't do that. Like the original plates on the 16 by 16 plate there. So then there is this. This is a 2 by 12, and what I decided to use was those fancy bricks on the 2 by 12 plate, and then the 1 by 2 ingot tiles underneath. And then another 2 by 12 plate on top, and then some gray tiles in a 2 by 2. Oh yeah, and then we've got to, of course, fill in this here with some 1x3s. And the thing that I was just talking about there is going to sort of cap this facade. I'm actually going to offset it so it's flush like that with the masonry bricks. Now, interior isn't going to get done today, unfortunately, so I just whipped up these. These are pretty much just like a shell. Yeah, it's not very neat and tidy, stacks of 1x3s and 1x10s, but there's no point in interlocking all of the bricks and making permanent walls because the interior isn't going to get done today. So if I interlock all the bricks, taking it all apart is going to take substantially longer when I go to add the interior. But that is the ground floor of the Starbucks. That stud that's open there, check it out, I actually have some Starbucks stickers, circular ones, and I put them on that cool piece that allows you to put circular tiles or any sort of part on both sides, and that's going to be my double-sided Starbucks sign. So there we go. The ground floor is ready to go. Now I also created the second floor. This one is a little bit different. So once again, there is the fancy cap there, and then there is the masonry bricks on either side. I did lift up the windows 1 plate. I put the black tile in front. We've got some 1x2 snot bricks in the center there. I had to use 1x1s because I didn't have 1x2s, and some 1x1s on that side. And once again, I can put this there, and that's going to cap this floor off, the front of it at least, the facade section. And then I'm going to take another one of these shells that I built and put it on the back here. And that's going to, in theory, lock everything together if everything wants to cooperate. And then once everything has cooperated and all the studs have aligned, we can pop that on, and there we go. There's floor number 2. I think that looks pretty good. We've got a pretty nice facade there. Solid walls here. That could change depending on where this is going to go. If it's a corner build, then obviously you're going to worry about that. If it's sandwiched between other buildings, not too worried about that. The back, whatever. I mean, you could add a back door. There will be a staircase built in to access the second floor once I get around to the interior details. If I need to change the plate work, not a big deal. Change it out with some 8x8s rather than 16x16s. This is the roof that I came up with. It's got an awning there in tan, which sort of matches the color. It's framed using masonry bricks, and then I did just build a basic little heater for the top of it there. And then, of course, this can go on the roof. It just adapts to those studs. And just like that, we've got a pretty cool Starbucks facade, just pending interior details. I think that looks pretty cool, though. You've got the Starbucks colors, the black, tan, and dark green, some fancy bricks and awning, some masonry bricks that make it look pretty cool. And I think that just sort of pops, doesn't it? I think it's not too bad. You could build a whack of different varieties of these as long as you have the parts. That's the key. Having all the tile, windows, snot bricks, and masonry bricks and fancy bricks to do this. That's the key, is just having the parts to do it. Really quickly, I want to discuss why I decided to put it on a 16x16 plate and not on a base plate. That's because these builds are pretty much going to be really easy to transfer. And if I ever wanted to put that on a bigger Mills plate, well, it's very easy just to move the bricks or peel off the plate and adapt it to any Mills plate, even if I wanted to put the Starbucks in the city one day. So I can just peel this little shop off, which is a bakery, and put the Starbucks right there. And there we go. So it's that easy to transfer because it's on Mills and it's on a 16x16 plate. Super duper easy. And there we go, just like that, we've got a new modular building placed in the amusement park. Of course, there's no interior details, but I like the fact that it's beside the hidden Mickey in that roof. That's so cool. And then right over here, look, there's the purple wall. It's iconic. Snap a selfie. Whenever we get around to replacing that modular building or just upgrading it, the purple wall must remain. Maybe just a bigger, better version of that. And same with the hidden Mickey. I think that's a nice little detail. It does look a little bit gray, but that's because we can see that sidewall and there's no roof details. For sure, we'll have to add something to the roof and then, of course, add the interior details as well. But we've got another Starbucks that's slowly but surely being constructed here in the city, and I think the campground looks pretty cool as well with those additional details. So everybody, that's really about it for today. I hope you enjoyed this LEGO City update. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff coming out in the very near future, and have yourselves a fantastic day. Farewell!